Welcome to Club Buzz with DJ Locust. As far as our opening hand, we have one land, and I love this opening hand. If we had two lands, I would keep it in a heartbeat. But yeah, we will not get lucky, I promise you. Let's go and mulligan, and that's going to be, yeah, I mean, this is not too. We have Jays, which is some, yeah, we'll go keep on this. I don't really want to go past 6. Faithless Looting, we'll definitely put that on top. That is exactly what we want to see. But yes, welcome to Club Buzz with DJ Locust. We're running specials on Nectar tonight, so get your loved one out there. Buy them a drink. Let's go and get down City of Brass. And I'm not sure if you want to drink whatever they're serving there, but let's go and go for Faithless Looting. Let's draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Arcane Denial, and then Remand. Let's see. Remand is a card draw and a little bit of a tempo play. Let's go and dump Incinerary Command and then Fateful Show. Actually, we'll hold on to Fateful Showdown. That can be pretty good late game if we get some pretty good card draw going. Let's go and get rid of Magus of the Wheel. I feel it's going to be just a little bit slow in this matchup. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are playing the Locust God. Flying. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue-red insect creature token with flying in haste. Then for a 4-mana activation, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever the Locust God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. I just recorded Hapatra, so I was like, man, I knew we were playing against Animar, but I was just like, what's going on? I just saw this channeler come down. Let's go to get down Mountain, and then and then anything else. I think we'll just go ahead and pass the turn back over to our opponent. So that has put us online for going for Remand, which I love. I love going for Remand, cashing in a card draw, and then we can go for Arcane Denial, and then just slowly get some of this stuff out there. So we'll see what our opponent's going to roll out for the turn, but either way, we will have Remand, which makes me very, very happy camper. Ho, 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 ho. I'll take that damage. It's going to send Animar back to the command zone. We're going to be able to cash in a card draw. Drawn to Is It Signet. And then they get that, good thing it wasn't Force Spike. And then we drawn to Coliseum. Let's go and get down to Cascade Bluffs. Yeah, I think that sounds good. So we get down Cascade Bluffs. And then we get down Is It Signet. And that still puts us online for Arcane Denial. Yeah, I like that. All right. Get down Bluffs, and then we'll go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Normally, this isn't a kind of counter-heavy deck, but it appeared from our opponent's perspective that it looks like we're playing a pretty heavy control deck. Oh, Animar went back to the hand. Yeah, I was about to cover Animar. I was like, where did Animar go? Let's go ahead and tap City of Brass down. Go for Is It Signet. Let's go for Arcane Denial. That's going to give us a little bit more card draw. And that's going to send our Animar back to the command zone, putting it back up to 5. And then we'll be able to draw a card, and then they get to draw 2 cards. I'm digging it. Drawing the Steam Vents, and then let's see what else we draw for the turn. And that'll allow us to get down Jace. The only downside if we do end up getting down Jace is that Channeler is sitting at a 2/3. But that's going to make them use the red mana for next turn. So yeah, I kind of like getting down Jace. Let's go and get Jace down. Let's go for Jace. Let's go for the Brainstorm ability. Draw 3 cards and then put 2 back. Proforos and Goblin Bombardment. Let's put Coliseum back, and then let's go and put Steam Vents back too. Let's go to get down Scalding Tarn. And then anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, we're playing against Animar. Finally get to cover it. Protection from white and black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1 counter on Animar. Then creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each +1 counter on Animar. And props to our opponent for sticking it through those 2 counter spells. Sometimes people online, not every single opponent, but sometimes people, if you go back-to-back counter spells, they'll just scoop up. So it's nice to see that. All right, so Channeler will be coming across at Jace, knocking Jace down to 1 green box. And but yeah, if you don't know what this is, Magic Online with this last update last week, they added a lot of kind of little stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Glad to see them taking the effort to do that. Opponent's going to get down Mana Crypt, so either way, if we end up losing this game, I've had a lot of fun. We got down Jace, and then we got some pretty good Remand, and then Arcane Denial is always fun. All right, opponent's going to go for Imperial Recruiter, so let's see what they search up on this. And that's going to be Slinger. Enters the battlefield, does 2 damage to any. Oh no, excuse me. Okay, I thought they were going to tap. They don't have access to red mana. So when the Slinger enters the battlefield, that will allow them to take care of that. Take care of Jace. Let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. That way we can get down Steam Vents. It's going to come into play. Not going to pay 2 live. And that puts us online for using not Tropical Island, Volcanic Island for Flooded Strand, and we can use Jace's ability. All right, yeah, and you know what? Let's go and do that. Let's go and get down Flooded Strand, and then we need to get down the Locust God first before we go for that. So let's go and crack Flooded Strand, grab Volcanic Island, and then let's go and go for Jace's ability, draw 3 cards, and then hopefully we can kind of maybe stabilize with some of these tokens and keep Jace on the battlefield. That'd be pretty nice. Let's go ahead and put back... Actually, now that we're getting this pot to where we can draw some pretty good cards, this is a questionable one. Let's put Wandering back on top, and let's put, let's put Storm the Vault on top, and let's go put Wandering back on top too. And we'll get those, always yield to that, get those insect tokens going, and then anything else we'll go and pass turn to our opponent. The only downside is with Slinger entering the battlefield, 2 damage to any target. Basically, they can just straight up target Jace. So, I think at this point, do we start putting some pressure on our opponent then? Yeah, why not? Let's start putting some pressure on our opponent. I like that. All right, it's going to be 3 coming across. Put them down to 26. Because either way, they've got Slinger entering the battlefield as he has that fire slingshot. And this is what makes Magic so fun sometimes, is when you imagine Slinger running on the battlefield and Jace is over there doing his Jace thing with this like kind of shuffling the top part of the library, and then Slinger enters the battlefield and throws a flaming rock at his head and knocks Jace out of the plane of existence that we're fighting. So that's always fun to imagine things like that. So we'll see if Slinger's coming down. We do have Vincer on top, so I need to keep track of what our opponent will be drawing into. That will be something that would be advantageous to us if we kind of have at least a little bit of a ballpark game plan of what they've got going on in their hand. So Slinger does enter the battlefield. He throws a flaming rock at Jace, unfortunately. And that was, what's his name? Vincer was on top of their library. Okay. And what's the reveal zone? Reveal the, enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. So they did draw 3 cards. I guess I put Worm in their hand, maybe? We'll see what they ended up going for. We'll cross off Slinger, and let's go and get this down just a little bit. But this looks to be like a pretty fun version of Animar, to be honest. Let's go and get down Island. Do we want to go for... Yeah, let's do that, because that way we can get rid of... They're tapped out on mana, and I think I like going for that. Let's get down Island. So it's going to be Windfall and Porphyros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's going to be a good chunk of damage. I like doing that. So let's get down Porphyros, God of the Forge. And then let's go for Windfall, because our opponent's got 6 cards in the hand. All right, so let's always yield to that, and let's always yield to Porphyros' trigger. So that's going to put some pretty good pressure on our opponent, put him down to 11. And then, oh, unfortunately, we're sitting right at... All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one, but I'm still going to go and post this one up. You can see how explosive the Locust God can be. Our opponent's deck is pretty tight as far as an Animar deck goes, you know, well-constructed tight. But basically, you can definitely see where simply just getting down Porphyros and going for a will effect like Windfall was more than enough to take care of it. Our opponent did have Sundering Titan, Crater Hoof in their hand, and Vincer. But thankfully, you know, with Windfall, and that's what makes the Locust God so just, lack of a better word, miserable to play against, is that you just get a will effect, you get tokens on the battlefield, and you put some really good pressure on your opponent. But anyway, we got to see the, at least we got to see the Slinger throw a rock at Jace and knock him out of here. But the Locust God's going to get it done with a ton of tokens. So, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Club Buzz with DJ Locust. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We're going to keep on this. We have double island in our hand. We have Is It Signet as a red source, so hopefully our opponent does not blow up our Signet. But other than that, I like Kindred Discovery and I like Monolith. So let's go and lead off with the island, and then anything else? No, let's go and pass these turn to our opponent. We're playing DJ Locust, the insect god himself. Flying, whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red creature token, insect creature token with flying in haste. Then for a 4 mana activation, draw a card, then discard a card. Then whenever the Locust God dies, return him to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Let's go to get down island. Let's go and go for Is It Signet. It's going to be 1/2, and then we'll kick it back over there. We're playing against Hapatra, Vizier of Poison. So we've got some insects versus snakes. So it should be... Thankfully, insects can fly past snakes. That's the only good thing in this matchup. That's really going to matter for us. Whenever Hapatra deals combat damage to your player, you may put a -1 counter on target creature, and then I'll get that. Let's go and get down Monolith, because we need to get down some of the rest of this stuff in our hand. It's going to be one, actually... Let's tap the filter mana first. There we go. All right, let's get down Monolith. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, and that'll actually put us online for the Locust God. We'll see if we want to tap out for that. We'll probably end up going for that, and then we're going to kick it back over there. But yes, we're playing against Hapatra. Whenever Hapatra deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1 counter on target creature. Then, whenever you put one or more -1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with Death Touch. So, basically, if you haven't seen Hapatra before, the name of the game is to get those insect tokens going. And if you see that new targeting system right there, that's basically Magic's Online, their new way to kind of make sure that you're targeting the right thing that you want to target. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. And I'll kind of explain that here in just a second. Let's go and get down Wandering as our land drop. Yeah, let's go and tap out for the Locust God. I like doing that. Let's tap Monolith. And that's going to be 1, 2, and then anything else, we'll go and kick it back over to our opponent. Now, we will at least be able to kind of survive a couple different turns with the Hapatra swinging across. We'll see if we want to let her swing across and chump block with the Locust God. If you're playing Hapatra, you tend to run a lot of counter spells that have -1/-1 interactions. But if this isn't them completely tapping out, then we'll obviously go for that. But I'm about to say, as I hate to block on Hapatra and then our opponent have just a spell that puts 2 -1 counters on the Locust God or something like that. But you can see the new stuff that they added. They added the new counter system in here. Makes it look pretty nice. It's good to see that. It's like them updating the blinds in a house or something. Shows that they care just a little bit. All right, so we do draw into cards. It's going to get insect token on the battlefield. And then I think I kind of like going for Winds of Change. We've got some good stuff in the hand, but I'm not super wild about it. Yeah, let's go and go for Winds of Change. It's going to be a pretty good chunk of insect tokens on the battlefield. Yeah, and that's perfect. Let's go and always yield to the Locust God. We want those Oh, look how beautiful that is. Let's go and get down Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, let's go and crack Bloodstained Mire. Let's go to grab Volcanic. I'm doing to go for Faithless Looting. That still puts us online for Into the Royal. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and go for Faithless Looting. And then let's go ahead and discard 2 cards. We'll go and get rid of Island. And I'll go and hold on to Cyclonic Rift. And yeah, we'll go and get rid of Into the Royal. And let's go and go for Ponder. And then let's go Firestorm. Let's go and put, we'll go and shuffle those up. Put them on top in any order, and let's just shuffle those up. Ooh, drawn to Force of Will. That is perfect. Okay. Now, let's go and swing across. That's going to be 9 tokens in the air. And this goes to show you just how crazy the Locust God is. I mean, you get these... The fact that they have haste, I think if the insect tokens didn't have haste, it would still be pretty oppressive to play against the Locust God. But the fact that they have haste, it just makes it just really silly sometimes. All right, anything else, we're going to kick it back over to our opponent. So we did draw into Force of Will. We have Force of Will exiling Thirst for Knowledge, so at least if the opponent does have something like Toxic Deluge, we can go for Force of Will and counter that spell and still kind of keep the pressure up on our opponent. Now, unfortunately, our opponent looks like they're kind of stuck on lands. They've only got 2 lands on the battlefield at this point, right? Oh, 3. They do hit it. That's always a bummer. But when you play against the Locust God, you get that card draw going. It's just... silly. I love it. Oh, and I will say this. If you're thinking about building the Locust God, as you can tell, it's pretty much there's just one way to go down the highway, and that's really, really fast. So if you're a person that likes, decks to have different, maybe the scenic route one day, fast route one day, and the Locust God is pretty much just get it on the battlefield and get those insect tokens going. All right, exile any number of target creatures and all auras attached to them. Do we use Force for that? Yeah, I think so. Do we need it that bad? Exile the Locust God. We can recast. Yeah, let's go and go for Force. Exile. Then we'll exile Thirst for Knowledge. Want to make sure we can protect the Locust God. All right, let's see what we draw into Talrand, and then that'll give us another token. Let's go ahead and push across. That's gonna be 10 coming across. Knock them down to 11, and then I guess if we want to, we can go for Faithless Looting to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards out of the bin. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, let's go for that. All right, let's go for Is It Signet? And then ooh, there we go. All right, let's go and discard Talrand at this point right now. And yeah, Fateful Showdown. We're not really getting that moving pretty quick. Let's go and always yield to that. I should have done that during our main phase. That's going to get down Reef, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we do have Cyclonic Rift in the hand. We do have at least 12 tokens on the battlefield at this point right now, so hopefully we can swing in next turn and deal some combat damage, but we'll kind of see what we're going to use with Cyclonic Rift. But this is pretty much what I'm talking about, how it's just really, you know, it's just kind of like Necosaur. I mean, it's a really fun to pilot. And destroy target creature, yeah. We can't do anything about that. Make sure that the Locust God does go to the graveyard instead of the command zone. All right, there we go. You always want to do that with some of these gods because it's set up on Magic Online to where they will end up going to the command zone instead of going to the graveyard to where you won't get it back, which doesn't really help. So, but we'll see what our opponent has. They ended up using Hero's Downfall on the Locust God, so we've got at least 12 tokens in the air, so we'll see what sort of spot removal they may have. And then let's go and cast Cyclonic Rift on Hapatra. We'll just go and bounce her back to the hand, and that'll just be one snake coming across, putting us down to 25. All right, we get the Locust Gone back, and then that's going to be us swinging across for Insect Token. So, unfortunately, our opponent was a little bit tight on mana, so I may end up posting this video. It just kind of depends on. Sometimes you can kind of hodgepodge some Locust God videos together. He's pretty impressive in 1 versus 1 sometimes. But anyway, if you enjoyed your time at Club Buzz, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.